Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, I don't think anyone saw this coming. The Cleveland Browns, after what seemed like a promising start to the season, have hit a rough patch that's raising serious questions about their future. And today, we're going to analyze everything that happened in their recent game against the Detroit Lions, a game that's leaving Browns fans everywhere a little more anxious, but also more determined to find solutions. We're talking about a 34-10 loss that exposed some critical issues, especially on offense, and threw a spotlight on the struggles that Joe Flacco faced under pressure, without much help from his blocking and receivers. Right from the get-go, it was clear that the Browns were in a tough spot. Flacco, stepping in for the injured Denzel Ward and facing a Lions defense that's been on fire lately, just couldn't get much going. He was under constant duress, throwing for 184 yards on 34 attempts, but finishing with a dismal 39.3 passer rating. That's a pretty rough stat line, especially when you consider the circumstances. Playing behind backup tackles, with Jack Conklin out due to his elbow injury, and Dawand Jones sidelined for the season with knee and hamstring surgeries. Imagine that, rotating in Cornelius Lucas on the right side, and having KT Leviston, a second-year player making his first NFL start on the left. That's not exactly a recipe for success when you're up against a pass rush led by Aiden Hutchinson, who was relentless all game, and Alquadin Mohammed, the Lions' number 2 edge rusher. Flacco's day got even more complicated with the turnovers. 2 interceptions that weren't all his fault, but still hurt the Browns badly. The first pick came on a play where Cedric Tillman ran a hitch route, but Flacco threw a fade down the left sideline, an aggressive throw that didn't connect. Flacco himself admitted after the game that it was his mistake. "The first pick was on me," he said. "Yeah, I thought he was going. I was in the wrong, not him." That's honesty, but you can't ignore the impact, an interception that set up Detroit at the Browns' 46-yard line, leading to a field goal. Then, just before halftime, another costly turnover when Jerry Jeudy fell down near the sideline, and DJ Reed easily grabbed the ball and returned it 34 yards, setting up a quick touchdown pass from Jared Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown. That made it 17-7 at the half, and from there, the Lions just kept piling on. And speaking of the Lions, what a team they've become. Coming into this game, Detroit had scored 90 points across their previous 2 games, and they kept that offensive momentum going against a Browns defense that's been pretty solid overall, but just couldn't contain the Lions' attack. That 65-yard punt return by Khalif Raymond for a touchdown early in the fourth quarter was a real dagger, sealing the game and making it clear that Cleveland was out of sync. It was a backbreaking moment, especially after a series of dropped passes by Harold Fan and Jr. and Jeudy, who had a chance to put some points on the board and really change the momentum. Jeudy, frustrated, hunched over after a deep ball down the left sideline that he couldn't hang onto, knowing that could have been a game-changer. Now, I have to point out that this wasn't just about Flacco or the offense. The Browns' offensive line was stretched thin, and they were missing key players. That was evident in the way the Lions' defense, particularly Hutchinson and Mohammed, were able to pressure Flacco consistently. That pressure forced him into hurried throws and bad decisions, which led to those critical turnovers. The Browns' running game, led by Quinshon Judkins, showed some promise, especially with his 11-yard run to start the game and a crucial fourth-down conversion that set up their only touchdown. Judkins is a bright spot in this game, showing grit and determination, even when the rest of the offense struggled to find rhythm. But beyond the individual performances, what's really concerning for Browns fans is the overall state of the team. The defense, which has traditionally been a strength, did its part by forcing an interception from Denzel Ward, which helped the Browns close the gap to 20-10 at one point. That was a glimmer of hope, a sign that the defense was still fighting. Grant Delpit, who finally snapped a streak of 7 games without an interception, made a crucial pick that kept the Browns competitive. But it wasn't enough to overcome the offensive struggles or the special teams miscues like Schmidt's missed 56-yard field goal that could have made it a one-possession game. And let's not forget the bigger picture here. The Browns are now 1-3, heading into their week in London to face the Minnesota Vikings. That's a must-win game for many reasons. First, to keep their playoff hopes alive, and second, to restore some confidence after a game that exposed so many vulnerabilities. Coach Kevin Stefanski has a tough decision ahead of him, who will start at quarterback next week. Flacco, who showed moments of veteran poise, but also faced relentless pressure and turnovers, or perhaps a look at Dylan Gabriel. It's a situation that's testing the resilience and depth of this team. Looking at the bigger picture, Browns fans should remember that this team has a lot of talent and a history of overcoming adversity. The defense, with Myles Garrett leading the charge, is still one of the best in the league, capable of dominating games when motivated. The offensive line, despite injuries, still has the potential to be formidable, especially with the right adjustments and health. And the offense, led by Flacco's experience, has enough playmakers to turn things around if they can clean up the mistakes and get better protection. What's also interesting is the rivalry brewing in the division. The Lions, now 3-1, look like they're on a mission, especially with their offensive firepower. Goff, with his precision and calmness under pressure, continues to be a thorn in the side of defenses. The Browns, on the other hand, are at a crossroads. This loss stings, but it also serves as a wake-up call. They need to tighten their execution, protect Flacco better, and get their run game going more consistently. Fans, I know this season has been full of ups and downs, but one thing is clear. The Browns have the talent, the coaching staff, and the grit to bounce back. This game against the Lions, painful as it was to watch, can be a catalyst for change if they learn from it. The upcoming game in London is a pivotal moment, a chance to reset, to show resilience, and to prove that they're still contenders in the AFC. The journey is far from over, and the Cleveland Browns have a rich history of overcoming adversity, of fighting tooth and nail on the field, and of never giving up. That's what makes being a Browns fan so special, believing in the comeback, in the resilience, and in the bright future ahead. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. This team might have hit a bump in the road, but the passion, the fight, and the hope are still alive. We're in this together, and I believe the best is yet to come. Thanks for sticking with me, and as always, go Browns.